Alright, now we was going over to how we was reading Second Ezra, right? And going over how they came over here. And they still over here, right? But we about to go into this book, right? I'm gonna have the brother read it, right? And show you what was going on over here when the so-called Negroes came over and linked up with the Southern Kingdom, came over and linked up with the Northern Kingdom. Okay, we're gonna show you in this book what was going on. Now this is dealing with. I was hit with a question on the comment board to explain this, but what I wanted to do was build up and show how the split happened and what happened to Israel and how these things came about. Okay, so I wanted to go into the history about that, but now I'm going to go into why Judah and why the tribes have different pigments. Okay, what happened? All right, so I'm gonna go into this book. I'm gonna have the brother read it. It's called The Black Indians, right? Tell me the name of the book, huh?
Okay, we got The Black Indians here by William Loren Katz. And I'm going to start at page 13 here. Right. I'm going to read right here toward the bottom.
Make sure they can get it. Make sure they can see it. If they can't see it, I'll put it up in post-production.
Okay. So this is The Black Indians here, page 13. And it goes, captured Negro gave such an account of the difficulties and dangers of the journey to his settlement that 33 out of the 40 enemy soldiers refused to accompany their captain.
Right. Go ahead.
To prevent Africans and Native Americans from uniting, Europeans played skillfully on racial differences.
Oh, now you listen close now. Oh, this is key. This is key right here. Okay? This is going to answer your question. Okay, go ahead.
And ethnic rivalries. They kept the pot of animosity boiling. Whites turned Indians into slave hunters, and slave owners and Africans into Indian fighters.
Okay, so they causing that division. Okay, because why? These Edomites coming into power and they causing that division. Okay, go ahead.
Light-skinned Africans were pitted against dark-skinned.
See? So even though that happened to the Southern Kingdom, it was also happening to the Northern Kingdom. Okay, so they played that color thing. Okay. They played on the color thing. Okay, so when you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans see brothers out here teaching and don't fully see them so-called black or looking like me or looking like a so-called white person, and you think they not of Israel, that's the propaganda and the division that the so-called white man used to keep the tribe separated. Okay? You're using that same tactic and not even knowing it that he came up with it first. This society is based off color coding. It's not dealing with spirit. Okay? The Heavenly Father and His Son deals with the spirit. Esau deals with color. Okay? So read that again out of that book. What page you on?
I'm on page 13 here.
Okay, go ahead.
Captured Negro gave such an account of the difficulties and dangers of the journey to his settlement that 33 out of the 40 enemy soldiers refused to accompany their captain.
Right.
To prevent Africans and Native Americans from uniting, Europeans played skillfully on racial differences.
They played skillfully on racial differences. Okay? That's what they've done. Go ahead.
and ethnic rivalries.
Ethnic rivalries. So, like I was saying, that trickles down to the southern kingdom and it trickles to the northern kingdom because you have those rivalries within the tribes, okay? And that goes back to that division, man, okay? Go ahead.
They kept the pot of animosity boiling. Whites turned Indians into slave hunters, and slave owners and Africans into Indian fighters.
Right.
Light-skinned Africans were pitted against dark-skinned.
See? Go ahead.
Free against enslaved. Black Indians against pure Africans or pure Indians. Those who have put history into books have emphasized differences between Africans and Native Americans. For example, they have stressed that Europeans encountered Indians as distinct individuals and members of proud nations, and Africans as nameless slaves.
So see, they put that division out there, okay? So that's the way the northern kingdom would look at the southern kingdom, like they ain't nothing because of that propaganda that's pushed out there. So all this propaganda that's pushed out there, right, and which we reading in this book, right, which he researched, showing you the tactics of Esau. And our people, the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, take on them same tactics and push it on their own people, man, to continue that deception and that division, man. Okay? That's why the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, when they come into this truth, if they not learned, they look at stuff as based off color. Okay? Everything is based off color. Nah, it's based off the spirit, man. We deal with the spirit. Now, go ahead, finish. Go to the next page.
I'm on page 14. There's a little bit more there, about halfway down. Native Americans cherished their own trustworthiness and saw promises and treaties as bonds never to be broken.
That's where they screwed up at. Trusting Esau. Okay? That's where they screwed up at. Making treaties, man. Okay? That's where they screwed up at big time. Alright, now, let me see what you got. You know what, oh, you just finished reading that. You know which one fell out? That was the first one or I know. Alright, go there.
Black Indians, page 29. I'm going to read about halfway down here.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Africans took their places in the mines and fields of the New World.
Yeah, see? So when they came over here, okay, they took their place in the mines, right? You had the so-called Negroes in the mines, okay? Go ahead.
The 80 million Native Americans alive in 1492 became only 10 million left alive a century later.
Yeah, because it was dying in the mines. Go ahead.
But the 10,000 Africans working in the Americas in 1527 had by the end of the century become 90,000 people.
Yeah, they was catching hell, and get what Judah was doing. Letting loose off in their woman. Hey, man, it was populated, man. That's what happened, man. When the tribes, man, be catching hell, man. Hey, man, only way they can relieve stress is deal with that woman, man. Go ahead.
Out of the shifting labor forces, a new population emerged of mixed Africans and Native Americans.
So here you is. Now you gotta remember, they was calling the Northern Kingdom, which is the Puerto Ricans, the Native Americans, the Mexicans. They was calling them all Indians, and also they was calling them all mulattoes okay? And they was calling them all Negroes, okay? When you call somebody a mulatto in this new day and age, they would look at it like you mixed with a so-called white man. Nah, before they changed that term, they were calling them mulattoes, just a person like me, okay? Just looking at me, they'll say, oh, he a mulatto, okay? They would say that, okay? They didn't put that term on no person of family members had white ancestry in their heritage. Okay, go ahead. So it's a new thing that popped up. Okay, according to them, but Jake was mingling amongst the tribe all the time, man. That didn't stop, man. Jake been doing that. Okay, but it's a new thing to them. Okay, because they got to rewrite history and keep Jake in a confused state to make them think that it's something new that's happening. Nah, that's always been happening. The tribes always been mingling among each other. You got Mexicans, so-called Mexicans messing with Puerto Rican women and having children. Okay, you got Judite men laying down with Puerto Rican women and having Judite babies. You got Issachar laying down with Judite women and having Issachar babies. You always had that. You always had that. Right? Go ahead.
By 1650, Mexico alone had an African Indian population.
See? Mexico alone. By when?
By 1650.
By 1650. Okay? Even though the tribes were dark-skinned, they all were dark-skinned, but they was always intermingling with each other. Go ahead. So you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right, intermingling with Issachar down there. Okay, they're showing you in the book. They was intermingling. Go ahead.
Some with white ancestry.
Some with white ancestry. You know why? Because you had them Spaniards raping the women. Okay? You had the Spaniards raping the women, and that's where you get that light skin there. Okay? But it's all based off the spirit. Yeah, you gonna have so-called African American line go back to so-called, you're gonna have people that call themselves African Americans line go back to Esau, and they look dark as me. Okay, and you also gonna have so-called Mexicans line go back to the so-called white man, and they look dark as me. Okay, and you also gonna have Mexicans, so-called Mexicans that light-skinned and line go back to Jacob and don't go back to Esau because of the intermingling. But it's based off the spirit. So read what you got.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 11.
Right.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest. There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep.
Yeah, so he's talking about David. This is when David was being chosen, going to be set up as king. Go ahead.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, set and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither.
Yeah.
Verse 12. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy.
Now he was ruddy. Now, when you look that word up, right, it don't mean red. When you go into the Josephus, right, which I'm gonna put it up, which you can see it now, okay? Now, when you go into that word in the Josephus, it deals with David being light-skinned, okay? Tawny, okay? So that word there, ruddy, don't mean red. What it means is tawny or light-skinned. Now, if you try to Google ruddy, you're gonna come up with nothing but confusion, okay? But I got a book, okay? Ancient and Modern Britain by David McRitchie, and he tell you that word ruddy was changed over a period of time, okay? So you can see that right now, okay? But dealing with that. So when you go into the Josephus, it tells you that David was light-skinned. Okay? Go ahead, bro.
And with all of a beautiful countenance and goodly to look to.
Yeah.
And Yahawah said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren.
Right. What number you at?
13. And the spirit of Yahawah came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 14. But the spirit of Yahawah departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from Yahawah troubled him.
Yeah. So what I wanted out of that, which I probably missed it, is where the Most High don't judge.
Oh, that's in there.
Oh no, jump up to verse 7. Okay. So like I skipped it. It's in verse 7. The key is in verse 7. But
okay. This is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. For Yahawah said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahawah seeth not as man seeth. For a man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahawah looketh on the heart.
yeah, and you look up on the mind, man. So read what you got over there and back in this book and what page you on. So the Most High looking at the spirit, man. He's not looking at your appearance on how you look. Okay? He looks at the spirit, man. We just read it out. He look at your mind and your spirit. So we just read it out of 1 Samuel 16 and 7, right? Okay? And who did he choose? David. Okay? So he recognized David. Okay? Now, if you're in the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, that's how you would judge, according to the spirit, not according to the appearance. Because what we're reading out of this book, that's what the so-called white man did. Play on how each of the tribes looks against each other. And that's carrying on amongst the tribes right now. So that's why you got the so-called Mexicans, okay, and the Mexicans up here in America, which they call Chicanos. That's why you got that division, because they learned it from the so-called white man, okay? They didn't come up with that on their own. They learned from the so-called white man, and the white man pushed it out there, and they grab hold of it and run with it, okay? They're not looking at the spirit, okay? They looking at the outer appearance. And you got some of them tribes, that's so-called light-skinned or almost look white, that parents darker than darker than me and Wesley Snipes, but their children are light-skinned, okay? So that division comes from the so-called white man and his propaganda, man, and we're reading it out of the book, man, okay? Go ahead. But do the Most High look at the tribes like that? Nah, okay? Israel is a speckled bird, man. So you're gonna have some that's light-skinned or so-called white, because the tribe intermingle with these other nations, man. And it happens. If your line father go back to Jacob, and you're an Israelite, no matter what color you look like, and you believe on these scriptures wholeheartedly, and you understand what we're saying, you could be an Israelite, man. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay, we're going to jump back in this book here called Black Indians, page 36. It was in Mexico that Europeans made their strongest effort to keep Africans apart from Native Americans.
So you got Judah Benjamin Levi mingled amongst Mexico, and that look real dark skinned. You don't know if they go back to Judah Benjamin Levi. That's what I'm saying there. The tribes intermingle amongst each other, man. Okay? That's what happened, man. And in this book it's telling you. Go ahead.
Black men far outnumbered their women, And so sought Indian wives.
See? Which are women in Mexico. That's what this going into. Go ahead.
A Native American wife meant if she was free, that children born to her would be free, not slaves. So extensive was the contract between red and black people.
See, I throw that in there. Red and black people. Them modern terms.
Yes.
See, them are all modern terms, man. But it's to confuse, you know what I'm saying, Jake, that's unlearned, who ain't did no research. Okay? You know what that means? It means, research means somebody already searched it out. What you gotta do is research it. So if you ain't did no research, you would listen to them terms and say, oh, that's accurate. Them modern terms call somebody red and black, placing that on the native. Esau is red, okay? Esau is red, and the so-called African Americans, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right, are brown, different shades of brown. But you also got to change the faces. That's why we finna read Luke. John 7 and 24. John 7 and 24. Then I'm gonna go right.
This is John chapter 7 verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance.
Who said that? That's YAHAWASHI in the red. Okay, go ahead.
But judge righteous judgment.
Read that again.
This is John 7. This is John chapter 7 verse 24. Judge not according to the present appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
Yeah, judge righteous judgment. So don't judge according to the appearance. Okay? You looking at somebody and thinking they're not Israelite, you can be running away an Israelite. Okay? That caused division, man. Okay? This is Daniel 7 and 9. Oh Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces. Why is it like that? Because we transgress the laws, man. We transgress the laws of the Heavenly Father and His Son, and guess what He did to us? Put us in captivity. And whatever nation we was up under, we were sleeping with the other nation, and them other nations were sleeping with our women, man. Okay? You got a confusion of faces, man. Okay? And it's a shame, okay, as a people to break the statute, laws, and commandments, and for us to be in a confused state, not knowing who our people are, man. We all scattered, man. That's a shame. It says, "Oh Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day of the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel." So that's the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. The confusion of faces.
We're just not all on the same page.
That are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespasses that they have trespassed against thee. O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of faces, to our king, to our princes, to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. There you go. Okay? So